Yeah, like the entrance.
Yeah. Okay, we should be live. We should be live. I'll back out of that. And pop out chat. Okay, we should be back at... Oh, there goes Ali.
Yeah, I've only got 2 in chat.
Oh, there we go.
Good thing this ain't Saturday morning.
Yeah, that... I was having a heart attack there because I'm like, oh no, they did not cut off the channel. How are we going to do the show Saturday morning? Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. Oh.
I hear you.
Wow, we nearly got show stopped for good.
Do you really think that was YouTube that did it or something else?
I find it too coincidental because you know, Container Man was going on about it and you know, it was like one of his last comments and then yeah, that was it. It was like, what's going on?
I think he was pretty offended. Was it Container Man or was it someone else was offended by using the word Conrail to substitute?
Wow, that's all I got to say.
Yeah. I don't know, either way, yeah, I think it was just, I don't know how the bloody algorithms work, but it was like, what the hell's going on?
I know how the Facebook ones work. I don't know how YouTube works.
I reckon it'd be on a similar algorithm, very similar algorithm. Oh, Grandpa Rails is on.
Hello, hey John.
Why does this keep dropping off?
Hey, Grandpa.
What's a good word, John?
Does that work?
What's work?
Yeah, what is work?
As far as I'm aware, I'm on 10 days leave.
You want to know a really good ballasting tool?
No, bum out.
A round metal spoon and a X-Acto knife handle. You can tap the ballast, tap the rail at the same time. Works great.
100% agree with you there, Steve.
As long as you can reach it.
This is the next great job
I
I've
need
got
to
to
weather
do.
something. I need to go weather something.
Those.
What is that?
Yeah, what
It's
is
a
that?
vacuum tray.
Oh, okay.
To where it's been broken
Oh,
off.
that looks nice.
Oh no, that's a pain.
Yep, and it's got to be colour matched, and I'm a bit scared to do it, so I've been putting it off.
You know how to airbrush, don't you, Ali?
Haven't got an airbrush.
Oh,
That was done with a can.
with a can.
Tamiya spray.
Oh wow.
Camel yellow.
Now, what I was going to say was, if you had an airbrush, just feather it on. Because when you feather it on, you know, you put it like a very light coat, and then, you know, if it's not quite the right color, you can chop and change it, and eventually it'll be fairly close.
The biggest problem with that is I'm not sure if you can see it, but right at the very top there, I'm not sure if the camera's going to focus there, See how it's got that 90-degree bend in it?
Yep.
That part's got to be orange, and the rest of it's got to be black.
Wow. Hey, Ali. Roy wants that brass Garrett back on the track if you can. He wanted to get a good look at it.
Sure, I can put the Garrett back on. But those hoppers that you've got there, Shannon, that's what I want them to be hauled by, is that DD, that big one.
Dale just said Sakura Densha is doing a live stream model railroad club every night at 10 o'clock UK time. Everyone can join in and run trains together. Is that 10 o'clock AM or PM, Dale? And that, now I have to work out what's the, time in the UK for a 6 PM. So PM. So that is going to be in roughly 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's in 6 hours. 6 hours is going to be 9 AM. Am I going to be awake for 9 AM? I do not know. Hey Joel, you're back. We're back.
Quick question. How does that look?
Looks good.
What am I looking at? Wait.
Oh, you want to see it?
Hang on, I'll
I want to see it.
I'll maximize it just.
Lights horrible.
Why is that not right?
I still need to dull coat it, but that should look. Oh, come on, it's down there. Well, I can't get the whole thing on camera, so.
Container Man says, I'm not usually into steam or brass, but I do like the look of that.
Oh,
Thank you,
Yeah,
Container
that's
Man.
cool. That's a cool looking
Roy,
light.
right?
I'm gonna copy.
Well, the nice thing about the brass on the steam engines, if you're putting them on the shelf, I think they look awesome. They look kind of silly running on the layout, but they look really awesome sitting on a shelf. You can see all the detail in them pretty well that way.
Yeah. Well, it's like when I did. Hang on. Let me just grab it. I've now subscribed to that channel, so I'll get notified. It's like when I did put this QHB kit, I think it is, or GHQ kit. GHQ, I think it is. On this Mikado. Still need to paint it, but like that white metal kit on the Mikado actually works out very well.
Yeah, I like that. I saw that the first time you put it up a while back, and that's that the contrast is really cool looking, at least on camera.
Yeah, I still gotta prime it and paint it. And the sad thing is that I only put this together just so I could sell it. Because unfortunately, the only reason I'm going to sell it is because it doesn't mix in with any of the railroads I model.
I was going to say, why would you put all that effort in if you're going to sell it?
Hey, Shannon, how do you shrink HO brass into NCA?
Steve, stop teasing me.
Look at that, Shannon.
Is that nice? What is that, a GS1?
No, it's
What
an
is it?
MT4.
A what?
It's an SP MT4.
I don't like you anymore,
That's
Steve.
Is that a 484, Steve?
No, it's the MT-4.
No, it's a mountain. It's a 28,
482.
482. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and we got its sister an MT3 before they did the shrouding, and they both run really good, but they don't run on N scale though. It's a problem, and the tenders.
Hey, Ali. Container Man is asking some questions about the Garrett. He says, how many drive wheels? What's the 2 silver boxes on either end?
So they're water tanks. That's the coal bunker. They were converted to oil, but this one was converted back to coal. It's a 482 plus 284. So it's basically 2 mountains back to back. That's basically what they were. They were two AGR S classes, pretty much.
Yeah.
They have the same skills.
Joel's Paris got in a bad mood and is attacking him. I was going to say, why does it sound like someone's turned a tap on? And then I'll look at Steve's feed and it's him running trains.
Just going back.
And there goes 911.
That is a pretty paint scheme on that.
What's that?
On Wilma's, what is it? An SD70.
Yeah, I think it's an SD70. Number 911. New Ferris's answer for Joel's problem. Give it a bath, Joe, or make it into a chicken soup.
Well, don't do that to the poor little birdie.
Well, you're getting warm weather, Joel, whilst we're getting cold weather down here in Australia.
No, we're not. Can you not see me sweating, Shannon?
WA is on their own. Western Australia is like on its own weather pattern.
And Melbourne's got pretty much all 4 seasons in one day.
Yeah, which there's actually a reason for that too, which I actually looked into.
Yeah?
There's 3 pressure systems fighting over Victoria. You got the pressure system. Yeah, you got the pressure system that comes from north to south of WA, sweeps across South Australia, and then comes over.
Yeah, goes across the bight.
Yeah, that goes over northwest of Victoria. You got the pressure system coming from Queensland coming down, and then you got the other pressure system coming from the Antarctic, comes through the Great Australian Bight, and then comes through the bottom of Victoria.
There you go.
And they all meet pretty much over the top of Melbourne.
See, that's why I've always loved Western Australian weather. It's just
Constant.
consistent, and usually it's not humid. But, my God, humidity is killing me right now.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I've got to be careful with everything. I've got to keep everything away from windows. And
Oh, yeah. I remember, who was it?
this stuff melts.
Who was it? I think there was a guy on Facebook. He was going. What did he do? I think he was going to an exhibition, and he stopped off to get takeaway, and he went in because he wanted to eat inside in the air-conditioned restaurant. Came back out of the car, finished the trip, got to the exhibition, opened his boxes, and all his rolling stock was just distorted and warped, and he's like, uh-oh.
There was a guy who came over last year. He flew a whole heap of 3D printed stuff like this over, and we don't know if it was the pressurization or something like that, but all of it went wobbly.
Oh, no.
You know those hoppers that you've got? He had a few of them, exact same material, exact same as what you have, and all of them had wobbly tops. But instead of being nice and flat and straight, they were just wavy.
Yeah.
He managed to straighten them out, but I would have just been pulling my hair out. We still don't know what the cause of that was. It could be the glue that he used. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you never do. I mean, I'm always skeptical when transporting anything by plane.
Well, whenever I take anything over east, I always carry on.
Okay, I'm starting to figure out how tired I am. She lives in Western Australia, Roy. So I'm over in Victoria, which is on the east side, and she's over West Australia.
Yeah, it's a 3-hour time difference there.
So it's just after midnight on your end, isn't it?
12:16, yeah.
There you go. So it's officially everyone's having a morning.
That's right.
Yeah, we're all in the morning now.
Well, I'm actually lunchtime.
Oh, well,
12:17
There has to be one.
12:17 p.m. here.
You're exactly 12 hours behind? Is it Saturday?
Yeah, I think I'm behind. Yeah, I'd be
it's behind. America's behind. The first people in the world to see the sunrise is the New Zealanders. And then everyone trails off after that.
That's funny. We don't have any music on here.
No. Maybe we should talk to some of the guys in New Zealand to jump on.
They model this stuff. These wheels are from New Zealand.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're North Yard.
Well, let's see. Hang on. Back to Google. What time is it in New Zealand? Oh, it's 5:18 a.m.
Oh, it's a bit early for them.
Yeah.
It's probably very, very early for them as well if they were actually on the normal Saturday time.
Well, it's 5:18, 3:18, so 2 hours, so...
What's the time difference between New Zealand and you guys?
Well, between me and Wellington in New Zealand, it's 2 hours exactly. So the stream would start about 3 a.m. their time.
Yeah, that's late.
Unless a couple. Well, mind you, they're in lockdown at the moment, so you know some of them might be crazy enough to go bugger it. Let's just stay up one night and have a look at the show.
Depends on if they even know it exists.
Yeah.
I didn't know it existed until you sent me the message about episode 9.
Yeah. Actually, hang on. There is one New Zealander I have seen on one of the live streams. Whose stream was it? I think it was Real Wicked Canadian. I think it was on his stream.
Yeah, that's
Well, he usually streams. It's usually it'd be about. He usually starts about 10, 11 a.m. here, so it'd be 12, 1 p.m. over in New Zealand. And then, yeah, but then I think the other show as well was this one I was talking to him on camera.
Oh, Steve's dropped off.
Good old Steve. Yeah, the stream I was with him on was about 2 o'clock my time, so it was 4 o'clock New Zealand, and I think it was about 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning for him. So
there are some crazy people out there like you, Shannon.
no, I usually don't sleep that well anyway.
That's an understatement.
Hey, I'm crazy enough to work on BMWs. I mean, who decided to do that?
Well, it could be worse. Could be what were they? The
Could be working on that.
MGs and MGBs and midgets.
No, they're a lot easier. I mean, put it this way, Claude. There's an engine model that BMW fit into their cars, where literally we quote customers roughly 12 hours labour for a $10 to $15 gasket.
Well, that sounds like the U.S. automakers are doing that kind of crap now too.
Yeah, no,
My son had a Saturn, and the alternator went out, so we were going to replace all. I said, that's easy, I can do that, and I'm not a mechanic. Went out there. Well, it's underneath the block. You got to pull the motor out to change the alternator.
Yeah.
And it's just nuts.
Yeah. Well, that's like this engine. Basically, this gasket we call it a Mickey Mouse gasket because it actually looks like the Mickey Mouse logo almost. And yeah, it fits between the block and one of the engine brackets. But on the other side of the engine bracket is where the engine oil cooler lines bolt up to.
Yeah.
So basically, to get to this gasket, it's basically steering rack out, sway bar out, and mind you, most of the cars that have that engine have what's called dynamic drive. So it's a hydraulically controlled sway bar. So it's got a hydraulic motor in the middle that forces the sway bar to move independently. So that has to come out. You have to support the engine, drop the K-frame.
And the Germans wondered why their tanks wouldn't run.
Yeah. And then the funny thing is, that same engine. They have another variation of it, which was an updated version, which is a twin turbo 4.8 liter. And to get to the alternator on that, you have to take the whole intake system off.
Oh man!
Because you got because the way they mounted it is the turbo sit in the valley of the V, and the alternator sits in the valley at the front, and all the piping comes off the turbos above the alternator, then down and across.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh wow, BNSF 6951's a BMW mechanic.
No, he's saying Vinny was.
Oh, Vinny. Oh.
He said, yeah.
Oh.
Hello.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
We're ignoring you.
No, wait a minute. No, it said my internet was not working. The connection was not working, but I could hear you guys fine, and you weren't answering me, Shannon. I was going,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I drive a A200 Mercedes, and Mercedes are so finicky. You have to be a qualified Mercedes mechanic to work on a Mercedes. You can't just take a 10-year-old mechanic.
Actually, believe me, I'd rather work on a Mercedes than a BMW. That's how difficult BMWs are.
They're just very, very picky, I guess.
Well, this is the way me and the boss always look at it, or I look at it, and we kind of joke about it. The Mercedes do it because they want to show everyone how good they are. BMW do what they do because they go, let's just do it because why not? and then you got Audi and VW, which is like their little brother and sister's like, oh, they're getting in trouble, so let's not do what they do, but we'll kind of copy them and pretend it's their fault. And then you got Volvo and Peugeot, which are on their own. Like the car I drive, it's a Ford Focus, but it runs the Volvo designed, Peugeot built, Ford owned engine, which is the Duratorque diesel motor. 200,000 Ks from factory. So I've only just ticked over 200,000 kilometers. And it's only got its first oil leak maybe 10,000 Ks ago.
That's not bad.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I know we gave crap to Volvo a lot, but Volvo built a pretty good damn engine. So
Just to put it in a better car.
oh yeah, we haven't lost Claude. We lost Wilma.
Yeah, we lost Wilma. I don't know where he disappeared to. I was quite happy watching his trains go around.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. My screen looks sucky.
Steve, I reckon you need to go to Craigslist and buy just a cheap ass laptop that you can just with a webcam.
Oh, come on. That would be too
That's
easy.
what I've got at the moment. It's just a laptop with a webcam built in.
That's what I've got.
Oh, that would be way too easy. It's more fun to fight with it. It's a challenge.
Always is.
Yes. Well, actually, talking to you is a challenge.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm back. You can quit talking about me now.
Now what was I going to say? What do you reckon? Should I work more on my boys layout or should I finish my stock take?
Your what?
Finish your son's layout because then you can keep him busy with that while you're working on your own.
Yeah, but then I still got to. Actually, what's it? Holy crap! How many days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh. This time next week, my son turns 1.
Yo!
The big one.
Yeah, and we can't celebrate it with anyone.
Oh, stupid thingy in place. What do they call it?
Showstopper.
No, what did ScoMo call it? Slow-mo?
To think everyone in the US is going to be like, what? Who's slow-mo? Who's ScoMo? What's going on?
Yeah,
I was watching a YouTube
so many names
broadcast of him the other night. He was talking about shelter in place. That's what it's called.
Yeah, that's what we're pretty much in shelter in place kind of thing. Same as what Steve is. Steve?
Yeah.
Well, pretty much everybody.
Yeah. For
Pretty
your
much
No more
everybody
than
in
10
the country.
people in gatherings, no more than 5 people at a wedding, no funerals.
no funerals have been. You can have 10 people at a funeral,
10 people funerals.
but if you ask, you're going to add another 3 people. If you ask.
Oh, because that makes it okay.
Yeah. Also, like, how's this, right? So my boss went for a drive this morning in his car because he was working on his car, and then he went down the road, and he's gone down Main Street near where I work, and can anyone explain to me how a news agency is an essential business to have running?
I've still got my lotto ticket that I've got to take in.
No, because most of them aren't news anymore. They're all opinion.
Well, and
So they're not essential.
How about the picture of the news crew interviewing somebody with full gear, mask, head, booties, everything. Cameraman's 3 feet away, nothing.
We've got a, what is it, 4-meter rule?
No, it's 1.5.
1.5, is it?
Yeah, each state's different now. Like, I know New South's doing slightly different to what we're doing here in Victoria. Because I know WA was the first to pretty much freeze all the mortgages. So
Yeah, my brother's pretty happy about that because he's just bought land. He literally bought land a couple of weeks ago.
wow, you could not time that any better.
No, and he's been freaking out. He's been, oh my God, and I might lose my job because I work in a bottle shop. he was on the phone to me just about bawling his eyes out because he also had to let go all the casual workers as well.
Yeah, that's the yeah. No, me and the boss and Haley, we had a kind of a meeting yesterday. So, but we're in a good. I wouldn't say we're in the best position, but I wouldn't say we're in the worst. We're kind of just getting by. But yeah, what else is like? Yeah, but yeah, back to what I was saying before. So the news agency's open, but he was saying pretty much all of Main Street, all the shops, everything, all the sidewalks. It was like any other day. The only difference was, none of the cafes were open.
Well, they were saying that,
you want to know something scary? The San Francisco News, there was a Bay Area News chopper channel. This was last week. Was flying over San Francisco on a Wednesday afternoon. There wasn't anybody out. Pier 39. I mean, no cable cars, no nothing. It looked like something out of an apocalypse. It was really creepy. It's just,
You drive through Southern Cross, Western Australia, and it's like that. It's a big town, and there's like half a dozen people that live there.
Yeah.
So I locked the front.
And the Golden Gate Bridge, man. There's no cars on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Wow. Yeah, it's just crazy. It is just extremely crazy. Makes no sense. Because like the real thing that really annoyed the boss about it is how you feel being a business that has to shut down because of it all, to only know that the business next door to you is up and running and is almost no different to the customer base.
Yeah,
except like the salons, massage parlors, all those sorts of businesses.
Actually, how's that with the hairdressers? I don't know if it's all of Australia. Yeah, their half-hour restrictions got lifted today.
People need a haircut, like I do, obviously.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we've got everything closed down, but the car dealers are open. The car dealership, because that's essential.
Yeah, but you know what their arguments behind that is? Because without car dealerships, you have no workshops. Without no workshops, you don't have anyone servicing their emergency vehicles.
Nobody can drive anyway. You're not supposed to be out. You don't need a car.
Yeah, well, that's the only reason, my workshop that I work at is still open, is because, yeah, it's just a very, very grey area. There's no black and white.
Yeah. There were people here, my daughter and my son, they were, we can't even drive. They'll pull us over if we can't prove that we're going and they'll cite you and arrest you. And that's not true. I mean, there's so many rumors floating around that just aren't correct. I mean, they were talking about the borders being closed between the states. It's like, that's not true.
Actually, I was watching Steve Brown's Dirt Guy Drive Time today, and all his workers.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, but he was saying on his stream that him and all his the workers that work for the company, they've all got pieces of paper signed from the company to say, yeah, we're allowed to be out because we're going to a work site. Because it's all based under infrastructure.
That's not true. They don't. I mean, Oregon State Police here, OSP, actually put out something last night about that. A lot of questions that people are asking, and that's just not true. They're not. I mean,
actually, what Steve said was his workers were worried because they would be getting stopped. They thought they would be stopped.
Oh, okay.
He didn't say they were getting stopped. He said his workers were afraid they would get stopped. Excuse me.
Yeah, there you go. So as I said, I wasn't really paying much attention to his stream, but I kind of just had it in the background when I was doing some soldering. Dave, BNSS.
Yeah.
Hang on, what
We
the hell
better
did I
be
just...
careful. We're getting shut down again.
Joel's saying, I stopped cutting my hair over 10 years ago.
I don't shave. That way I don't have to buy razors.
Go old school, Steve. Go cutthroat.
Well, no, actually, it's kind of a long story. My son is in the military. He's in the Army, and he's over in Africa. And last summer we had a kind of a contest. We were growing beards, and when he got called up, and he had to ship off. He had to shave. You know, so I told him I wasn't going to shave until he gets back.
Oh God.
And now they're, he's over there supposedly until Christmas. That's when he's supposed to be released. But now there's rumors floating around that they're going to keep him over there for another 6 months because of the dreaded East Coast Conrail.
Yeah.
So he may not even be getting home until anyway. That's why I'm doing that.
You should see what Roy is saying at the moment. You know how we're talking about how far apart you're meant to be with the social distancing?
Oh my God, Roy!
I wonder if that includes strip clubs.
No,
6 foot rule.
They're delivering.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to see you mention that.
Yeah. 6 foot rule lap dances ain't no fun.
Shannon, they're delivering.
Someone actually mentioned that adult venues are supposed to stay open.
Actually, there's a brothel near my place.
It's if you want it, you dial 1-800, bring me a stripper, and they'll bring you one. You don't have to go.
Uber a stripper. Uber Eats.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh
The brothel is like a 10-minute drive from where I am.
Oh, my hand's parched.
On their website says, due to the coronavirus and the interest community safety, we are closed.
Said it. Oh, no, you said it.
Oh shit, I did see.
Word.
You said it.
Are we still on? Are we still going?
Too late, Joel. He said it.
Check the chat.
I wonder if strike 3 that will get shut down permanently.
No, I saw that. I saw the test.
Okay. It might have just scraped through.
Even Joel's told you off.
Oh.
They couldn't tell through the accent. That's what it was.
Yeah, I think with the noise of the trains and us talking, it probably didn't pick it up.
Yeah. My bad.
Oh boy.
Yes, Dave, we are going downhill quickly in our little toboggan.
That's what happened. How long have we been on? Hour and a half?
In total? No, it's more like 2.5 hours.
Are you serious?
Oh, that's why my butt hurts.
Yeah. And have you actually sat on that? Have you actually sat on that cushion yet, Steve?
Yeah, he went to all that effort.
I kept sliding off, so I'm not. This is my stool, guys. It's wood, man. It's hard. Which is fine if you're out here.
Velcro.
It's fine if you're out here for a little while, but 2.5 hours. I mean, come on.
That's about how long it's going to take me to drill this hole through this little brass tube with this number 70 drill.
Actually,
I got the drill.
Oh, there's 2 of them. I got through it all the way.
Yeah. Actually, I was going to say, Claude, I had to actually buy. I bought a drill bit adapter that actually fitted those tiny drill bits to then allow it to fit into the chock of my actual drill.
Yeah. Well, I just put it in my pin vise and I take the cap off and I'll chuck that up in my drill.
Yeah.
But what I find is it's real easy to break these little bitty bits with a power drill because you get it off just a little bit and they get bent just a little bit. It doesn't take many rotations before they snap.
That's why you need the hand drill.
Hey, Leslie's joined in. Hey, Leslie.
Leslie.
Hey, Leslie.
Welcome.
Hey, Leslie.
You must be bored too, Leslie.
Actually, what's yeah? No, I'm gonna stop talking about that because I'm gonna slip my tongue.
Oh, you better not.
Don't give us strike 3, Shannon.
I'm having some sugar.
We got lucky with strike 2 because Big Brother wasn't.
Yes, as far as where the chat's going.
Oh, you know why I didn't pick it up? I'm just having a look at the stream health, and it's actually come up with a suggestion. The audio stream current bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. We recommend you use an audio stream bitrate of 128. So at the moment, audio is a bit cloudy, so to speak.
Okay.
It
So
always
we're
was
probably
talking
not
to you.
all that clear.
Put duct tape on Shannon's mouth. Thanks, Joel. Love you too.
Hey, I have an idea. Why don't we buy 6-pack of that wonderful yellow beverage? And anytime we want to mention we can hold up the yellow beverage, and that's your. Yeah.
You've given him an idea.
Chat
Oh, no.
went silent.
That could be dangerous.
Yeah, we just
I just thought the audio was muddled because of Shannon's accent.
Well, Shannon has one. You know, he went to get it, and we'll see. There you go. Yep, there you go.
What was that?
What the hell was that?
Baby monitor.
They're going to blow him up now.
I thought it was YouTube Big Brother.
Yeah.
Man, Shannon, you're going to get us in trouble.
I'm gonna get what?
You're going to get us in trouble. We have an echo.
No, that was me, Steve. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, now I want to drink.
Now I got 3.
Panic ensues.
Got one water.
How about 3 trains running on a small lab? There you go.
I'm not saying anything.
Can't say anything when you got a drink in your mouth.
Well, you got to be careful what you show on camera, too.
Yeah. You know what, Shannon? My mom always said, never have something unless you have enough to share with everybody.
That's right.
I've got another 6 bottles in the fridge.
We're coming to your place, Shannon.
Come over.
6, just get me started.
Okay.
Take me back to.
Claude, do me a favor.
Yes, sir.
Look up Pisco.
Oh.
All right, Pisco. All right, it's a South American spirit.
Okay.
But the one I want you to look at is what's called Tres R's, or 3 R's in English. That's the strongest and best Pisco you can buy, and that thing's deadly. That's my rock fuel.
Well, whiskey's mine, so,
Well, put it this way, it's well, with Pisco, the way it works is it's basically distilled wine, but the rule of thumb is it has to be minimum 40%.
there you go.
Yeah. But it's just so smooth, and like the majority of people that I've got to try it, pretty much all told me very similar taste and how it hits you, which is basically if you take a shot of it, swirl it around your mouth, it's very smooth, doesn't have that really big bite that you get from whiskey. But then when you swallow it and you wait a second or two, then it hits you. It's like, what are you doing? Don't you swallow, man. Keep swallowing. So, you know, you're kind of there going, oh, yeah, this tastes quite nice. Good. Bang.
Kind of like Sambuca.
Whoa.
I'd never had any of that, and had a guy on. I was talking to a guy at a bar and on a cruise that I was on, and he asked me if I've ever had it, and I said no, I never had it. And he said, oh, you got to have some. He said, now they usually drink it just straight. He said, but I like to have it over ice, get it real good and cold first. And he gave me some, and of course I like licorice because that's what it tastes like is licorice.
Yeah, yeah, I love that stuff.
So
too.
if you didn't like licorice, you'd spit it out immediately. But yeah, we got pretty hammered on that.
Yeah, I remember. I was in the city when I first had Sambuca, and yeah, I think I dropped like $120 on just shots of Sambuca.
And that's the stuff that tastes like licorice, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sambuca?
Yeah.
Okay. We had a guy several years back that he was from the Middle East, and I love black licorice. I mean, I'll eat that.
That's exactly what it tastes like.
And he said, "Oh, you're gonna love this," and it's like I did it. I spit it out. It says, "That's nasty, man." And I like licorice, but I couldn't drink
Was it Sambuca?
Yeah. Oh man, I couldn't do it.
Well, it's strong. That's for sure. It's a strong licorice.
Oh yeah.
But it's definitely black licorice taste.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can guarantee
I
you.
love black licorice.
When I tried Sambuca, I guarantee you, after that $120, I don't really remember much. Yeah, I do know I made it home with a girl to then only in the morning catch a train back up to the city.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. Whoa.
She wasn't one of those that she fell asleep on your arm and you had to chew your arm off to get away from her. Those coyote uglies.
No, it was more that she had to go pick up her son from the babysitters.
Ah. Oh, yeah, there you go. That'll make you run.
Oh, good goodness.
I've just come to an epiphany.
What's that?
Beer and sugar don't mix.
The jelly beans.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Beer and chocolate chip cookies. That is good.
Well, my wife, when she was in college, the only time she'd drink beers if they had bubble gum.
Yeah.
The real sugary bubble gum. They'd get that and then they'd go drink beer. It's the only way she could drink it.
A good combination I had was port and dark chocolate cake. Ooh, that was good.
Don't talk about chocolate. I love chocolate too much.
Well, I'll tell you what. My wife makes the best chocolate cake you will ever find. I mean, I love chocolate. I'm a chocoholic. Chocolate cake is my favorite. What?
There you go, Shane.
Yeah. Don't say it.
Say it, don't spray it.
Say it, don't spray it. Run, train. Let's see. I'm seeing how.
Oh, that starts to taste real foul real quick.
That's because you got to the bottom.
Mm.
Here, how about I'll put my crane on? How about that, Shannon?
Bottom of it's never nice.
Oh, no.
Should I put my work crane on? Okay, I'll do that.
Work crane. Ooh.
Yeah, my work crane.
Actually,
Oh, there you go.
Actually, Steve, you know how I was saying to get the track cleaning car?
Right.
I got a whole mode train of track cleaning cars.
Good, send me one.
Oh, that's where I could show you.
Send you one.
Yeah.
I've got two vacuum cars, 3 Aztecs, 1 CMX,
Oh, ow!
And yeah, that's it. What is that? Oh, dust monkeys.
Dust monkeys. I gotta get
It's got a
one.
picture at the bottom there.
It's starting to taste like crap. Right.
It means you need another one.
I've got to finish it first. You don't waste alcohol.
Oh, you haven't finished. That's taking you so long.
That's alcohol abuse if you pour it down the sink.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh. Ooh.
you will get terminated for that.
Actually, one game, every time I'm with my mates, the one game I like playing is this game. Anyone play this game with drinks? Finger in the nose?
No.
It's pretty much a lack of a better description, it's basically like tag.
Yeah. Last one to do it has to do whatever.
Has to finish the drink.
Yeah.
And oh, it was so funny. Because, you just be chatting away and whatnot, and then, you don't take notice, and all of a sudden you start looking around, and you just see everyone with their finger in the nose, and you're like... And the rule was, if your drink was already empty when you notice, you had to open a fresh one and scull it.
Oh, wow.
There's a problem with this crane on this train.
What's the problem?
Oh, you're gonna have to find out. You're gonna have to look.
Well, you're supposed Steve, you're supposed to reel up the hook first.
Well, no.
Don't let it trail out behind there.
Yeah, it's supposed to be flipped around. The boom always goes towards the rear.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I got a Intermountain mode train set which has a steam crane in it, and I'm actually considering buying some micro motors and actually getting it functioning with DCC.
You can get those micro servos. Then you can remote control it.
Yeah. Well, if I do it with DCC, then I just do it with the DCC controller.
Oh, yeah.
But it'll just be basic. It'll be like basically boom left, boom right, boom up, boom down.
Yeah, function-only decoder in it. That's all you need, something like a 6-function-only decoder.
Yeah. Only downside is I won't be able to get obviously to put the hook up and down, just for the fact that there's not enough weight in the hook to pull on the string.
Put something on it. Like, I don't know, like a thing of sleepers or something.
Why do you guys call them sleepers and not ties? I've always wondered that.
I think we adopted it from the British.
Yeah, I think it's a British term.
Yeah, but why do they call them sleepers?
I think it originated. Well, the way I see it, if you think about it, sleepers almost sounds like slip. So the British are probably saying, "Oh, put those wooden things underneath the rail so it doesn't slip off."
Oh, okay.
That's the only way I can. It makes
like
sense in my head. Yes. It does make sense in my head.
Well,
that's scary.
I mean, why do they call ballast ballast? Why don't they just call it track rocks?
Track rocks.
Okay, new rule. Shannon doesn't get to drink during these live streams anymore.
Oh,
no wonder they put that in the package.
Ballast, because it weights the track down, stops everything from moving, and that's what ballast is. It weighs things down.
There you go.
So that's probably ballast.
Is it bad that
He's already stuttering.
Is it bad that La Cerveza's Maspina has made me more alert than coffee?
Yeah. Well, it could be with you. It's what, like 5 in the morning there? 4 in the 5?
4. This stream's been going for almost 3 hours now.
Oh crap!
Jesus.
My dogs are in there going. I gotta go, guys. Come on.
Oh. But look how much fun we're having. Oh, hang on. What's Joel saying? I'm trying to make a Mad Max style rail truck from my ON30.
She's a fellow narrow gauge modeler.
And Joel's also asking what kind of locomotive is that?
Who's she speaking to?
That's to you, Alison. Sorry.
Me. That's a West Australian Government Railways A class. It's a EMD G12.
Actually, speaking of dogs, if you, I'm gonna go let my dogs out, so they're probably going. Yeah, I'm off in the side, and I will be back. Okay, if you guys are here, I'll be back. But I gotta take the dogs out. So I will be back. Are you there?
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay. Well, it got quiet. It's like all.
He's just making sure Shannon doesn't kick him off.
Yeah. Don't say Conrail.
Actually, I found some photos recently. The sister unit for this one, 1510, was in Illinois back in 2006 at the NREC workshops there, because they got sold, and they had several of its sister units: 1503, 1510, 1502, which was like a flat top version. It didn't have this, and it had lower cab. I'm not sure which other ones were there, but those are the photos I saw, and they still had the West Rail orange and blue livery on them. And then last I heard, they got gauge converted to meter gauge and sent to Brazil, I think. That was the last I heard of them. And they chopped the nose down on them, so they had...
Actually, I think I've seen some videos of when they were in Brazil. Because I don't...
Yeah, they're white now, I think. And this loco's in South Africa at the moment. And it's having its nose chopped down as well, because it got renumbered to 1202, and it got sold off with a whole bunch of Horizon stuff to South Africa. It's over there with two ABs, which are like this but slightly bigger.
Yeah. Man, I really got to learn more about my Australian locomotives. I know bugger all about Aussie locos.
I'm probably just muttering letters now, and people are going, huh? What?
Yeah. Well, this thing, like, because I've got a few mates. I'm not sure if you know him or not. Do you know Paul Barnard at all?
Name sounds familiar.
He used to frequent the exhibitions with a layout called Endsmore, which was a point-to-point layout, and it was only the last 18 months he converted it into a full loop. And then he sold it, and now he's doing ON30 in Puff and Billy.
Modeler.
Yep. Actually, here's the one that his layout's the one I used to test your gondolas on. Yeah. And the funny thing is, the first time I tested him on his layout, he's like, I quite like those. I should get myself some.
They're a little bit small, I guess, for what he's modelling, because they're 1 to 64th instead of 1 to 48. But
well, that's the thing. When you actually looked at it, it didn't actually look too out of place.
Well, they were originally a standard gauge wagon, so that's why they had the bigger bogies on them and the 2 sets of brake shoes.
Yeah.
And that's why they always look so out of place.
Yeah. But no, it didn't look quite out of place. It actually looked like it was almost to scale for what it was. But, yeah. Actually, in saying that, I wonder if he's actually renumbered all his Puffin Bill is an A class as well, isn't it?
It's an NA.
Yeah, NA, that's right. Yeah. He bought himself enough NAs to have each individual NA.
The Haskell ones?
I think so. I don't know what brand they are, but yeah, all I know is that he's got one for all the Puffin Billies, all in the correct colours, and I've had to rewire two of them because they weren't wired correctly.
They come from Taiwan or something, the Haskell ones, I think.
Yeah. Nah, he put a brand new decoder in one and poof, blew up.
Realistic puff of smoke without a smoke generator fitted.
Pretty much.
Not good.
Yeah. Well, when I opened it up and I was looking at it, I was staring at the board for like half an hour and I couldn't work it out. And then after half an hour, I was like, sorry?
Is there a brown mark on it?
No. What happened? After half an hour, I've gone, all right, let's go back to the basics. So I started tracing every wire to where it went to and from and tracing it to the appropriate pin. And what they did was, it was something like motor positive was on track positive and track positive was on light common. And then light common was on motor positive. So I had to move those three wires around, and after I moved those three wires around, we plugged the decoder in, and off it went without a hitch. It's like
the Aucision models C44s, like the 93s, the ACBs, 6020s, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
They all had that similar issue. They had the lights, or the marker lights, all lined up to go straight to the pickups. So they were getting direct track power to the lights, which meant that when you put a decoder in, you can't turn the lights on and off.
Yeah.
The lights are just constantly stuck on because they're getting their feed from the track.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, 12 volt AC straight to an LED is not good.
Actually, DCC, like, you know the whole argument where people say DCC is AC? It's not. It's just a standard digital DC current because it's a CAN bus system, which is what cars use. They use a DC current, but it's mistaken as AC because it does go from 12 volts positive, 12 volts negative, but that's just the way the signal works.
It's a pulse signal too, from what I understand.
Yeah,
it's not a constant.
No, it's a pulse signal. So if you looked at it on an oscilloscope, it basically, if that's 0 volts, it's just like that.
Yeah. And that's why locos with decoders in them don't react well to those pace controllers because they're pulse controllers. Those DC pulse controllers. Because they think it's a DCC signal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you fry them too, real easy. Actually, in saying that, the last time I ran DC, I somehow accidentally made an inverter.
How?
I don't know. I was trying to make a bridge rectifier, which I achieved, but at the same time, it upped my voltage from 12 to 16 volts.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay. Nothing's blowing up yet. I'll just go with it.
But also, if you constantly change the direction on DC, that makes the decoder think it's a signal to...
For the horn.
For the horn, yeah. For function 2. So sound locos on DC, you can turn the horn on and off by just quickly flicking the direction switch. As long as it hasn't got a center off.
Yeah. Leslie's saying square wave not... square wave voltage at track could be up to 18 volts. I think for most decoders, they say don't push it past 14, which I think is where most of the systems are set at, between 12 and 14 volts.
Crazy Joe, it's actually not ON30, it's SN3.5. Narrow gauge, but slightly smaller.
And Joel's asking, Steve, are you going to run your layout?
Am I what?
Are you going to run your layout?
I am running it.
And,
It's so small you can't see it, Joel.
Yeah.
and Joel's also asking Alison if you have a layout.
No, I don't. That's why I usually go to the club. Use their layout instead.
Okay, yes, I am running. Technical difficulties. I've also got the dogs in here too. Because that's what they do.
This is my layout.
Yeah. Steve, again, I reckon you should convert to DCC.
Seconded.
Oh, come on. It's too much fun, you know, doing this thing.
But then you can Gomez Adams it
I can do that anyway.
on the same piece of track.
Yeah, I could probably arrange it.
You'll probably arrange it.
I can arrange it. Yeah. Ah, crap.
Oh, is that right, Leslie? Wow. Yeah, if it's a oh, hang on. I just got distracted.
Well, see, I'm really distracted.
Is that a HO switcher?
I got both dogs
No,
in here.
it's Escar.
That's S-scale.
Yep.
Jesus.
But it uses a 00 scale mechanism under it. It's a Bachmann 08. And it's a split chassis, which is a pain in the ass.
What means pain in the ass? I love split chassis.
Well, you've got to isolate the motor, and there was a lot with this. I had to cut down the top of it to get it to fit in here.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm used to it because N-scale, most things are split frames now, and yeah, usually sound decoders means you have to mill it every time.
I don't know why that headlight doesn't work. Steve, this is why you need DCC.
Oh, I know why. No, I would. No, I would love to.
Really?
Well, what? I mean, look how much fun I'd be missing.
Actually, you know what would have been more fun for you, Steve?
What's that?
I had an old acquaintance of mine a couple of years ago. He had a fully operational lever set.
Lever set?
Yeah,
I have seen that.
Yeah,
Look awesome.
you know, like you use it in a switch tower.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, completely made out of brass with the actual proper sprung hand locks. So you have to actually squeeze the little hand lock to actually release it to move it.
Now that's too cool.
Yep. Each individual lever had its own switch, so you could power, you know, a signal, and or you could have frog power control, frog juicing, so to speak.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it was about how many levers was on one? I think it was about 15 levers on it.
That's pretty cool. I'd like to see that.
Yeah. But yeah, like he was showing me some of the setups you could do, and yeah, it's like some people just used like, you know, push bike brake cable. They just used that. They just ran it across from, you know, across the layout to wherever the switch was, and yeah, they just go click, click. It was so cool.
Well, that is cool, actually.
Yeah. I wanted to buy it, but I'm like, I have no use for it. Everything on mine is electrical.
Well, I started doing these old Atlas switches when I first started this stupid thing. And I had every intention of on the switch panel of having them all powered, but I don't need to. I could reach everything from sitting right here. So they don't have to be powered. Let's see. No. Let's see, where am I? I gotta look at see that goes on.
Joel, hard part finding a sitter for my parrots.
I love old school DC. Actually, kind of fun. Trying to figure out, which switch to turn on.
Hey, CDP 1965 is on.
Hey, how's it going? This is whiskey and trains.
Well, not yet, but I'm fixing to go get one. See, there you can tell my accent that saying fixing. Even my family gives me crap about that.
Well, see, it's only 10 o'clock in the morning here, so I think if I popped a beer right now, somebody might go, wait a minute.
Well, it's 10 past 4 over here.
1:11 here.
There's going to be people watching this stream and they're going to be like, what the hell is going on?
Just hanging out having
This
fun, right?
is part 2.
Yeah, if they just came in, they wouldn't have any idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
Not that we have much of an idea, so.
Oh, no, we're just chilling out, hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, for 3 flipping hours, man. That's crazy.
Now I can understand how Real Worker Canadian does it. Because, like, I look at some of his past streams and I'm like, how the hell are you up for 5 hours doing the stream?
Because they're like us. They have no life.
Yeah, got nothing else to do.
They have no life. I mean, it got so bad, I brought the dogs out here.
Actually, it'd be quite amusing if he jumps onto, if he's awake, jumps onto this stream, and then when this stream finishes, he goes, bugger it, I'm starting my own stream, and then starts his own stream.
We'll jump on in.
Hey, Steve.
Yes.
Joel says, well, alcohol does kill germs. That's what I'm going with.
Well,
That's what my dad called it as well.
That, like I said, Joel, I said this earlier in the stream. I went up yesterday to get alcohol because I need alcohol for scenery. You can't buy it, and so this is all I have. So I'm coveting this alcohol.
Go get a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah.
Or vodka or whatever. Yeah.
Well, that'd be pretty good. Actually, using scenery with vodka, that'd be pretty cool. That would work.
Yeah. There you go.
That would work. Yeah, we mix white glue, water, and vodka. Oh, wait a minute. Now, there's a good drink.
What's that?
Shannon, you make it.
I'll make a what?
Yeah, white glue, vodka, and water. There you go.
What was that, Ali?
White
So
glue
you
vodka.
stop eating, you make me hungry.
I like sugar.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't need to eat.
There we go. I'm lost on my switches. I'm trying to do 5 things at once.
Actually, here's a funny thing. For the amount of sugar I eat, I don't actually put on a lot of weight.
Good metabolism.
Here, Shannon, I'm going to tease you while you're watching here. Let's see. Let's put this right here. Let's see. Let's put this one right here. And we'll put that one right there.
Those are a little
I'm just
big.
going to go here and just going to go...
That way you...
Uh-oh, there you go. There you go. Just cut him off.
CDP 1965, I wouldn't be drinking and building because you can see a progression. The more you drink, the worse your buildings are going to get.
Even though visually you're like, oh yeah, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, it looked pretty good last night. When you wake up the next morning, you go, why is that crooked?
Oh.
Why is that on an angle like that?
I'm not as picky when I'm drinking, that's for sure.
The hands are steadier.
Yeah.
They're just not as straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like on a cruise ship, you know, when you're in rough water, anybody that's walking straight's been drinking.
I wonder if Steve has actually noticed that I cut him off.
He's probably not even looking at the camera.
He's got to turn around first.
Oh.
You're cruel and unusual, Shannon.
I am very cruel and unusual. Like, if I'm not going to go into detail, but if you ever meet me in person, ask all my friends what happened on my 25th. That is it. I'm not going to say anymore.
What the hell happened?
I don't know, Steve. What happened?
I put this stuff out, and all of a sudden it dropped out and said meeting ended.
YouTube said you can't sell stuff on here.
Oh yeah, blame YouTube.
Oh. Damn you, Steve.
Yeah.
You know, Steve, one of those would look good on that turntable bridge you sent me.
It's actually not brass.
It would, but I don't think it would fit.
Well, probably not.
Actually, Steve, you know what you should do, Steve?
What's that?
You should advertise to people, you know, you'll trade those 2 locos for 3 N-scale brass ones.
Well, unfortunately,
N-scale brass is more expensive, isn't it?
the problem is these are older than I am. These are my dad's. I can't get rid of them.
No, you don't get rid of those.
Yeah.
We'll pick them up in the estate sale.
You know, yeah, well, that's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem. And you know, the bad thing is they run really good.
It's the catch-22. It's like you want to run them, but you don't want to run them.
What brand are they?
These are. Let me look. Katsumi.
That's why they run well.
What are they?
Katsumi.
And I think
from what I gather, and I didn't really know this till I got into the narrow gauge stuff. And used to be, if you went HO narrow gauge, you had to buy brass engines because that's all there was. But from what I can gather, Katsumi was one of the best running models of all the brass stuff. Yeah, better than Pacific Fast and United and some of those.
I didn't know that. But,
yeah,
but
well, I think that's the one because you don't find very many of them because nobody ever puts them up for sale.
Yeah,
and when they do, they're really expensive.
Is that like
Actually, they're actually not a bad price. I'm on Katsumi's website right now.
Are they still making stuff?
Well, actually, this is not exactly Katsumi's website, but it's someone who sells Katsumi stuff. HO Brass.
I thought they were.
Yeah. Well,
go ahead.
Yeah. HO Brass, WMC Southern Pacific 4882 AC-4 cab forward, $550 US.
Oh wow!
Painted brass.
That's a good price.
It's
Of
like
course, brass in general has come way down from what it used to be, but
those Mansfield 8060s were like $2,000 Australian.
Yeah.
the only issue with these two is, well, and I don't want to solder it because I think you have to have a resistive soldering iron. I've got the headlight that popped off of it. Right here. So I've got it taped to the tender so I don't lose it. Yeah, it's up here. And the other thing is they had a pin. I don't know if you can see this. Connecting pin on the tenders.
Oh yeah.
See, yeah, this one's got one. This one doesn't. It's also got an issue with a ladder. You know.
Oh, ladders are easy.
Yeah, I mean, I just, I'm afraid to solder this for the.
Oh no, I've attempted doing brass, and anything I did, if I have to deal with brass, I send it to my mate, because he is like, oh, I don't
Well,
I don't know
this
what
one's
he
a
does, but he managed to build brass models so quickly and flawlessly. It's like, what's is wrong with you? And he's like, oh, I got bored. And it's like, what do you mean you got bored?
I mean, I would love to get these 100%.
This one's a brass and 3D print. So it's got the brass grills, the brass sides, brass chassis, everything's brass. This is brass, the cab's brass. Only thing that's not brass is this section here, the ends.
Okay.
This section here and here.
Wow.
The rest of it's brass. And you can tell
I've got all my dad's brass stuff. The rest of it's up in the attic. I've got his. He's got a GS4, and let's see, an AC9, AC12, Santa Fe Madam Queen. What was it, a 210-4, something like that. But these guys run the cab forward. Unfortunately, years and years and years ago, even when I was a kid, this was back in the late 60s. On his layout, they had a guard, underneath the mountain section, and this is a massive HO layout at a fairgrounds, and a piece of the guard, for the track underneath, was not fastened well, and this thing derailed and hit that part, went on a concrete floor. It just never ran right after that. You got kind of a duck walk wobble. The AC9 runs good, but the some of the valve gear on the front engine just are trash, because this stuff is old. I mean, it's older than I am, and I'm 3, so there's no telling, when my dad got it. But the funny thing is the GS4, it's a Balboa, and he filled the whole void with a shot of lead weight. I think it was probably 4 or 5 inches, and the diameter of the boiler. I mean, that thing weighed 5 pounds. That would pull anything. I mean,
I would imagine.
I'm surprised the track didn't buckle underneath it.
Yeah. Well, he had a huge daylight train. I think he had 14 cars, and he had all his stuff down. It was a fairgrounds that we grew up in Pleasanton, and he had all his stuff in a locker down there, and mine too. Actually, some of the stuff that's here, what's left of it. And after my dad passed away in '89, all of a sudden, a lot of this stuff disappeared. Somebody got into the locker. I lost half of the kit bash look that I did. I had a 16-car piggyback train that disappeared. Never found that. And a lot of his stuff disappeared. And so, I mean, actually, this stuff up here, let's see. Along here, these are all what's left of the kit bash stuff that I did years and years ago. And actually, some of here, let me see. And these things were all 100% running when my dad died. And then all of a sudden, everything disappeared. And let's see, I'll just kind of give you, since we're, like kind of, let's see. This is the tender for his Madam Queen. It's the one with the 8-wheel trucks on it.
Oh, yeah.
Which why it's down here, I don't know. But let's see, it got awful quiet. Suspense. Okay, this was Ather never made an SD40-2. And so this was kit bashed. For some reason, the top of the cab ended up disappearing. And so that one was pretty trashed. Ooh, now it's going to get more trashed. Let's see. And I have an SD45-2 in here that I kit bashed someplace, and it's pretty trashed. Oh no, this was a CF7. Ather makes all this stuff now, but you know, back in the late 70s when I did this stuff, you know, you had to kit bash all this stuff. Let's see, there's that. And unfortunately, they are nowhere near in the condition that they used to be.
Oh, they never are, especially if you move them very much.
Well, no, these all got stolen, and somehow this stuff got found after my dad's locker got cleaned out, because my stuff was in with his. And this is the SD45-2 that I kit bashed. And again, somehow the cab disappeared on this one too. That's, you know, but you know, you had to kit bash all this stuff. Let's see.
It's almost a dying art if you think about it.
Well, yeah, because you don't have to. Everybody makes it now. But back in the late 70s, nobody made this stuff. Well, that's not that one. That's not there. Let's see. This is okay. This was just a straight Santa Fe SD45 that you can see how trash it is. I mean, these things were just, you know, when I left them, they were in a case and everything was protected. Let's see. This is one that actually, whoops, I got a tree stuck to me. See that? Look at that. One of my trees. This one is actually kind of still sort of really good. This was actually an Atlas. An SD24. But the Santa Fe converted them to an SD26. They rebuilt everything and put the air reservoirs on the top.
Oh yeah.
And this was back in the days when I don't think Atlas made really good HO stuff, but it actually runs pretty decent and still does.
It's a bit like some of the Road River stuff.
Yeah, but I've got, you know, stuff up here, and I've got some other stuff that let's see, what's another one that I did? You guys remember the I don't know, you probably don't, Allie, but the final 4 Western Pacific F7s that they all ended up in museums, but they were the final 4. Chat might probably know, but they used to run between Stockton and San Jose, California, and they were actually pretty famous because they were the last F7s, I think, running. For sure on the West Coast. I don't know if there was anything on the East Coast, but the Western Pacific had whittled down all their F7s to the final 4, and there were 4 of 913, 917, 918, and 921. And these guys ran between Stockton, California, and San Jose on what it was a San Jose local. And I used to live in Livermore, halfway between. So I used to chase these guys as a kid and a young adult. And as an HO model railroader, I modeled those 4. And it's funny because they all ended up in museums. The 913 they repainted. It's the only one that had a snowplow on the pilot, and that's actually at the Sacramento Railroad Museum. And they fully restored that, and it's operational. They run it all the time. There's 2 that I believe are up at Portola. I think it's the 917 and the 921. And the 918 is at, I think it's at the California Western Rail Museum. It's in Rio Vista. I can't remember actually, but actually they saved all 4 of them. The WP donated them, and they're all operational. They all work. But I've got, when I was a kid, and these dogs want to get out. This might jog memories of somebody.
There was, I think, 1 or 2 F7s that are preserved in WA, actually, up north at the Hammersley Iron, which is now Rio Tinto Museum up there.
Okay.
And no, it was Mount Newman. Sorry, it was a Mount Newman loco. It was definitely an F7.
Well, these poor guys, unfortunately, the drive mechanisms again were cannibalized and stolen, but the bodies survived, and I've got them on some other chassis. But this is the 913, and this one is actually repainted into the old. Actually, it looks very similar to this paint scheme. Of course, this is my crappy job at weathering when I was young. It's like paint them really good, and then I gummed them up with weathering. But that one is the one with the pilot, the snowplow pilot.
So you scratch built that?
Yeah. Well, I kit bashed it. It's got all the
I mean, the
handrails
plow.
on. Oh, the plow. Yeah. I cut the old one off, and actually, I don't know if you can see it. Let's see, because this is an old drive mechanism, an old Athearn, not the original. But yeah, you can probably see where I cut off the. But thank God these actually survived pretty well. And then there was, let's see, this is the 921. And honestly, I'm not exactly sure which ones are up at Portola. I know there's 2 of them. And then then they had one painted Pearlman green. That was the 917. And actually in the early, I think it was in 79, that's when the WP was trying to survive. This is the 918. The potential merger with the tree again. Merger and buyout by the Union Pacific. So they painted the 913 back into the as close as they could, the old California Zephyr paint. And the rest of them, they painted Pearlman green like this. And they ran those, and then they ran these things to death. the WP was starving, and trying to avoid a corporate buyout by Uncle Pete. So it was a last ditch effort for them to try to save. They couldn't, and then they had a fire on one of them, and traction motors burned up on another one, and finally it was like they're done. So they ended up donating them to the museums because they were pretty famous. They actually, I think they're probably on one of the railroad magazines. You probably look it up and find it. But they're pretty cool. I always would have liked to have ran those guys. The old covered wagons were pretty cool. But I did this years and years ago. These guys all have handrails on them, and now I'm doing DC N scale.
Well, here we go. Some more Aussie stuff.
Well, Allison, there was a question. Dale had a question. If the orange one that you had up there, if that was a diesel loco. And then Chuck, was it Chuck? Yeah, Chuck wanted to know your channel link or name.
I don't actually have a channel. I've just been coming on here as a guest, pretty much.
There you go, Chuck.
Was it this one that you were referring to?
I think so. I think that's right.
Because
that's the one you had up there when he posted.
That is definitely a decent locomotive, yes. one of the WAGR's first EMDs. They started with some British Crossley locos, which they bought a lot of and weren't very successful. But they got them working fairly well towards the end. And yeah, the A's were pretty much came after the Crossley locos. 1960s-ish, I think. But I thought I'd show you guys this one.
Bye, Joel.
We were talking about Bulldogs before.
See you later, Joel.
F7s. That is a Commonwealth Railways GM class. They were the first, or some of the first EMDs in Australia.
Yeah.
An interesting story about the nose on these Bulldogs was they had to do them from scratch because they bought the casting over from EMD in America and it got damaged. So they couldn't use it. So we had to build brand new castings. And that's why the Bulldogs in Australia look different to the American ones.
Well, isn't it true, too, that they put the horns on the nose because they don't fit over some of the bridges and overpasses because the clearances are that close?
On this one, they've got them on the roof. They're right here.
Okay.
Pretty small to see. But on things like, yes, the New South Wales and Victorian ones, which had tighter clearances, they had to put them on the nose. But because this was a Commonwealth Railways one, this is the one that would have done things like the Indian Pacific and stuff, across the Nullarbor and that. No height restrictions there. So,
but even the trains over there drive on the wrong side. Like you guys put the engineer on the left side. It's like I wouldn't know how to do that. It's like backwards.
well, signal's on the left side.
Well, ours used to be on the right side. Everything, was facing right side, going forward. And when the Santa Fe started changing that was in the probably the mid 80s, I guess, mid to later 80s. Yeah, they started putting the targets on the left side. And it was just like, you can't do that. It's supposed to be on the right side. You can't do it on the left side.
It's funny you mention that because different states in Australia also put drivers on the different sides as well. I think Queensland had them on the opposite side as well, which I always thought was strange. And I think it's because on some of their locos they got a door at the front.
Okay.
So they can't obviously put a driver in front of the door.
I think, for us it was just more that's the way it was done. For trains, you had the block signals and targets and whatever on the engineer side, facing the engineer. And it really, honestly, didn't matter which way, because once we started getting used to them being on the other side, it was no different. But it just seemed different from looking at it on the right side, and then now seeing it on the left side, it's like that can't, that's not right. But you get used to it. We got used to running without cabooses. That was weird too.
Well, when I was flying aircraft, it was the same for me. I always felt weird sitting in the opposite, in the right hand seat, as opposed to where I was trained in the left hand seat, because the throttle, which is in the middle here, you got to change hands, so the throttle ends up being on that side.
Yeah, and I never thought about that, but I guess a pilot, you'd have to learn both sides, to feel comfortable. So I never really thought about that, but
And because I'm right-hand dominated, it's natural to put your hand on the throttle and have the other hand on the yoke.
Right. That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that.
Anyway,
but I guess you can get used to anything.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry to cut this short, but I'm just looking at the time. It's getting extremely late.
And it looks like it's crashing.
Yeah, wife's going to kill me in the morning if I wake up in the morning.
It's already morning there, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to talk people's ear off. And it's like somebody's going to look at this thing. It's a 4-hour live stream. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, pretty much.
Crazy as the Canadians.
This
Yeah.
is what happens when you shelter in place and you're bored and you've got nothing else to do. You can't go anywhere.
Yep.
Well, I wouldn't say
You
we're
can't
bored.
talk-
I'm just saying. I just reckon we're just, we just want to chat, talk crap, and
You got time to do it now.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And we can do it with Shannon because normally he would be fast asleep cutting wood.
All right. Anyway, thanks
Speak
for
to the devil.
everyone. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us. Thanks
Thank you for having
Claude.
me again.
Thanks Ali.
See you Saturday.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah.
If anybody likes this, and you think that we should do it if we can, not necessarily. I don't know about a regular thing, but it's kind of fun to do if you got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
To just do this and hang out, talk about crap.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Anyway, thanks again, everyone. See you all later.
Thanks, Ally.
Alrighty.
Claude. And
See you guys later.
Yep, and always, Shannon, thank you for running things because
Yes, sir.
Oh, we seriously got to get Brian or Simon to start doing some of these. I mean, Jesus.
Where is Simon? Haven't seen him in ages.
I know he's one of. I know his grandfather passed away about a couple of weeks ago or so. And he's also been pretty busy with school as well.
Yeah, he's homeschooled, and he's only 16, so he's kind of got the things that he does. This is probably a big priority because he's doing other things, and he's got family to deal with too. So it's nice to see him when he jumps in. He's part of it. We've got everybody else. We've got Ron Piskel and Joe G and Sparky, Simon, Sparky's 107. So, we got a lot of people on this thing. I think I missed somebody. Didn't I miss somebody?
So hang on, you got Brian, Simon, Sparky,
Ron,
Joe G.
Joe G. I don't know what happened to Joe G. I think he's been really busy.
Probably has.
Yeah. I mean, Joe's a first responder, man. He's a firefighter in near Phoenix. I forget the name of it. But yeah, I mean, Joe's busy, and he's trying to do his railroad. He's got family, and so he's and we're still working on the traveling boxcar. We'll get that going too.
Yeah. Well, I was actually thinking, Steve, I might find one of my white box cars, sandblast it, decorate it, clear coat it, and then send it off to you. Dog.
This guy's going, okay, I'm tired of being locked in the shop. I really need to go outside.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, catch you guys all later on.
Alrighty. Have a good day, everybody.
All right.
Stay
See you guys.
Bye-bye. Yeah, but just a minute.